Before Chip Kelly, he saw the world differently. He was a Super Bowl champ as a coordinator with the Rams, got to another Super Bowl against the Patriots, lost that one as the Rams head coach. His name is Mike Martz, and he's joining us on the show today. Good to have him in. 49ers, Bears, Lions, been with several teams. All right, so let's actually go back to when you're the coordinator and you faced New England in the first Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Was there anything, Mike, where you said, this thing's going to last? This is different. You sat there for 2 weeks and you watched all their tape, and nobody really knew Belichick. He'd been fired in Cleveland. We didn't know much. Did you see something different?
It was long before the 2 weeks. We go back throughout the whole season. We break down a Super Bowl for the stats and get a feel for players. So we played them earlier on a Sunday night and beat them up in Foxborough. And I think that made them 5-5, or they were kind of a 500 team. So afterwards, I was interviewed, and they asked me what I thought of them. I thought, well, we just beat a Super Bowl team.
You thought they were that good?
Yeah, they thought I was crazy. I said, no, this is the best football team since I've been in the league that we've played so far.
Wow, and you beat them in Foxborough.
We did. We lost 9 players in that game. It was a violent game.
Okay, tell me. So what did you see?
Just the attention to detail. They stayed ahead of the game. Bill has a remarkable ability to pay attention to things that a lot of people don't think about, and covers everything. He changes constantly. It's hard to get a beat on where he's going to be on defense. Offensively, they morph into, they're physical. They kind of morph into what they need to be. And at that time, of course, Brady was just starting out, so they were running the ball a little bit more, and they were very, very physical and good at running the football. But we came out of there with, I think, a 24-17 win, and we kneeled down like on the 10 going in, and we were just thankful to get out of there with a win.
Brady early, what did you see?
Well, it's accuracy. I think any great quarterback, first thing you look at is how accurate they are. And, of course, Tom, when you go back and look at his ball placement, and I think right now, in the last 2 or 3 years, he's probably as accurate, if not more accurate, than he's ever been. I think he's playing his best football here in the last few years. I really do.
He's so smart pre-snap. He gets him in and out of things.
He has such a sense and an awareness of where these receivers are going to be and where they're headed and lets that ball go way ahead of time. And then the location of the throws, you just can't. You can't draw it up better than that. Some of the things that he does with Gronk and where he puts the ball 30 yards down the field in the back of his helmet, right. That kind of stuff is ridiculous.
Mike, you were a guy that came in with greatest show on turf. You saw the world differently, and I said this. I think Kyle Shanahan's doing some clever stuff. Sean McVay, Chip Kelly, although he was maybe better fit for college than pro, that's fine. Some guys are. Tedford's better maybe in college than pro. But this has always been sort of a copycat league. So when you came into the league and had different ideas, Chip got real pushback. Did you get pushback?
Oh, we did. We got a lot of pushback, but we were successful right away and continued to have success. And that kind of validates things. But when you stub your toe along the way, and you hear a lot coming back at you. But we just had made the decision that we all came in the league kind of about the same time, the guys in the staff, and
yeah.
In those days, this is the way you do things in the league. The famous saying was, well, this is how you do things, so you can't do that. That's high school, that kind of stuff. And we just tried to figure out ways to include the talent that we had and get them to participate, not just zero in and put pressure on the defense. We want the defense. We want to take control of the tempo of the game by how we formationed and shift, and we want to force them into a vanilla defense and go to work. And a lot of times that worked.
Yeah. Mike Martz is joining us. One of the really first Bill Walsh kind of see the world differently. I always had this theory, if I was a football coach, I'm a believer in multiple sets, fewer plays. I'd rather you do stuff right and precise. I remember when I covered Sam Weiss. I love Sam, but players would tell me privately, they're like, good God, we have 400 plays. Where is your theory on the number of plays so players play fast, don't overthink the room, they walk out, they know their stuff? What's your theory as an offensive guy on that?
That isn't you have to challenge your players as much mentally as you do physically. Those guys on the other side of the ball, they don't spend all day just drawing up cards on the same plays now. If you're going to do the same stuff and rely on your ability to do it better than the team that you're going to see, it'll work for a little bit, but you've got to morph. You have to change and take advantage of certain things in your defense and your personnel and matchups that you haven't done before by a different formation and create different plays. There's a weakness. Maybe the pass rushers are small guys and they're not used to being trapped. Well, you got to trap them. Maybe it's not something that you've done before. Those are the kinds of things that you have to be willing to put in and implement. And then the players have got to have a buy-in factor where They understand what you're trying to do. They're excited about it, and then they go out and do it. You can't put a governor on football players mentally and say, well, this is too much. That's their job. They have to know it. And when they're expected to know it, they'll know it.
By the way, you liked, if I read correctly, Philadelphia's Carson Wentz, who my concern was they'd won so much without him. He had missed several games, and they just kept rolling. And I was like, okay, he's big, strong, fast. He looks like a slender, more athletic Andrew Luck. But he's playing for the Alabama of that level of football. Do they need him? But I was told you were a big fan of Wentz early.
Well, you know, I had an opportunity to work Jared Goff and Carson Wentz out together.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah, in L.A. Their agent is a friend of mine. I just did it one morning and spent 2 hours with him. And the bad thing about Jared Goff was Carson Wentz was there.
He was so good.
Yeah, I mean, Jared's an excellent player. He's worthy of that first-round pick, whether anybody believes that or not. It'll prove out in time. I just fully believe that. And he's an outstanding player. But Carson Wentz now, I've never seen anybody like this.
I think I always said, take out, like Brady because he's old, and Aaron Rodgers would be everybody's first pick if you could redraft today. And I always said Andrew Luck would be second, but after his injury now, I think Wentz would be second. Because, Breeze is older, Big Ben's older. If you were a coach and you had a 5-year deal, I think after Aaron Rodgers, I'd pick him number 2 in the league.
Well, I think one of the things you have to be careful of, though, too, is when you pick a talent like this, you want to make sure you have the atmosphere to let this talent be good or survive and improve and have success. You can go to, for instance, Goff is an example. His first year in there, they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
They did a really poor job.
He got
really
beat up.
Yeah. And they've got another coach come in that understands quarterbacks and helps him, and he has this terrific year. Well, that happens a lot in the league. There's a lot of good quarterbacks that bounce around and are called backups that perhaps could be starters. There's just not enough really great situations for quarterbacks like Carson. If Carson went to another team, who knows if he went to Cleveland, who knows what happened to him? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he fell into a great situation there, and he's a great player.
Yeah. Okay, finally, Mike Martz joining us. This has been a pleasure. Do you live in Los Angeles by chance?
I don't live in San Diego. That's where I'm from.
Oh, so you can come up here once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. All right, Philadelphia, I go to Pro Football Focus all the time. They say they have more good players than New England. I think it's close. I'll probably take New England situationally late, like Nick Foles, but I think last weekend was a little bit of an outlier. I don't think he's quite that good. Minnesota was a little flat off a playoff loss, or a playoff win in the last play against the Saints. I'm going to take New England field goal. I think Philadelphia is slightly more athletic in their defensive front with Fletcher Cox. When you watch these two teams play, if you broke down tape, Mike, where do you think this thing goes?
I'm going to give an edge to Philadelphia, not because of talent or any of those things, because it's the first time. They're playing with an energy and a chemistry that I really haven't seen since we were in the Super Bowl. There's a magic, if you will, like a star hanging over them. You see the energy when they play, their players, the camaraderie, the enthusiasm they have with each other. You can't duplicate that. It's hard to promote that. It just is. And they have that energy with that group that helps them play even better sometimes than perhaps they are. So if they can keep that kind of chemistry going and enthusiasm, excitement, and stay focused, I think they've got a chance. It'll be a tough game, but I think the Eagles will win it.
There you go. It's great meeting you.
Good to be here. Thanks.
Mike Martz. Like to have him on again. Oh, by the way, we do about one of these, 3 or 2 of these every few months, a song. Andrew's very proud of this song. So he did a Super Bowl song. This could be awful or great. I'm told it's great. It's coming up next. Guys, you're having New Year's resolution, don't you? And right now you've hit that post-holiday wall. You're not going to the gym yesterday or the day before, and you said you would, but now it's February, and you know what? You need a boost. How about M-Drive? M-Drive is nutrition science, 5 clinically tested ingredients to elevate your game. Clinically tested, safe and effective ingredients that boost something already in your body, testosterone. You can get it at Sprouts, Vitamin Shop, GNC, Duane Reade Out East, or Walgreens.